Hello everyone and welcome to my CBS Soaps official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thursday, October 23, 2025. Today on The Young and the Restless, Claire visits her cousin Noah. Nick's suspicions run high, and Phyllis points the finger in another direction. At the hospital, Sharon tells a nurse that she read her son a book and his hand twitched. Noah must be improving, he was trying to communicate something. She's told it was probably an involuntary muscle contraction, and that it's a good sign that her son's condition is unchanged. Sharon snaps at her and then apologizes. Returning to Noah's room, Sharon starts reading Tom Sawyer to Noah again, but his hand doesn't twitch, which makes her teary. "You have to come back to us just like Tom and Huck did." At the LA Hotel Cafe, Claire catches Kyle watching Holden speak animatedly with Sienna. She asks what he's doing. Kyle thinks the more important question is what is Holden doing, and who is he doing it with? Claire explains they're old friends and reminds him that he promised not to bother her. He should stay at another hotel. The longer he hangs around, the more it pushes her away. Claire joins Holden and Sienna, and Kyle's surprised to see Nick appear. Kyle learns that Noah is in the hospital. He remarks on Holden and Claire's friend, and Kyle tells him her name is Sienna Bacall. Nick barks, "Are you kidding me?" Kyle shrugs, telling him that she owns some bar called the Shadow Room and knows Holden. Nick walks over to greet Claire. Claire learns that Noah's in the hospital and why. Sienna tells Nick she's the one who called Noah. Holden gawps, "You know Noah." Sienna claims she met him recently. He visited her and her husband Mitch at their club. Nick wants to grill her more, so Sienna asks him to join her at the nightclub. Holden offers to take Claire to the hospital, but she questions what Sienna was doing at the hotel. He shrugs that he doesn't actually know. She must like omelets. At the Shadow Room, Sienna wants to help Nick, but she only recently met Noah. Her husband Mitch met him in London and offered to invest if he opened a club out here. Nick apologizes if he's been intense. The police say someone ran Noah off the road. Sienna saw Noah the night of the crash. He left around midnight. Nick asks why she called him. She says he wanted information about licenses and permits. He asks why she hung up on him. Sienna shrugs, it was bad news. Nick makes it clear he'll find out if someone intentionally hurt his son. Nick asks for her number and Sienna points out he already has it on Noah's phone. She writes it down anyway and tells him she'll pray for Noah, he's one of the good guys. Meanwhile, Claire and Holden greet Sharon at the hospital. She recalls that Holden was a friend of Damien. Claire asks if she could meet her cousin. Sharon takes her to Noah's room, pausing inside the door to question her about traveling with Holden. Entering the inner sanctum, Claire approaches Noah and tells his form that she's heard a lot about him and looks forward to hanging out. Sharon smiles inanely with tears in her eyes. Claire becomes emotional, imaging what this has been like for Sharon. She and Nick are lucky to have each other. Sharon says it's important to have that person in your life that you can always rely on. Back at the hotel, Kyle looks up the Shadow Room in hopes of finding out more about Holden. In her suite in bed, Phyllis has Kane's AI program in her laptop. She's remarking on her brilliance when someone knocks impatiently. Robbing up, she lets Kane inside. Kane fumes, "What did you do?" Phyllis plays dumb and asks why he's so angry. She pretends to be scandalized when he tells her his program was stolen or destroyed or both. Ranting, she asks if he has a list of suspects. Kane says he does. She asks who's on it. He replies, "You." Kane tells Phyllis she had the means, motive, and skills. "Do you have any idea what this program means to me, Phyllis?" She asks if he wants some coffee to take the edge off. Kane wants her to look him in the eyes and tell him she didn't do this. Phyllis acts offended and outraged. She's been loyal and stood beside him. She yells and hollers about him, accusing her of stealing from him. That's outrageous. Kane's starting to think their goals are no longer aligned. She wants to go scorched on everyone who's wronged her and use his AI program to do it. Phyllis clutches her chest when he accuses her again. Standing close, Kane asks one last time, "Did you steal my program?" Nick finds Holden in the waiting room at the hospital and asks what's up with him and Claire. Holden says they're just friends. He's showing her around LA. Nick starts grilling him about the Shadow Room and asks if he's ever seen Noah there. Holden shakes his head. Nick asks about Sienna. Holden thinks it's crazy that she knows Noah. "Small world, right?" Claire appears, hugs Nick, and she and Holden take off. Nick muses, "Small world, not a chance in hell." Nick rejoins Sharon in Noah's room and she tells him about the hand twitch and the nurse's disappointing reaction. Nick grouses, "Everything about this is wrong." He tells her he ran into Sienna Bacall at the hotel talking to Holden Novick. Nick can't shake the feeling that she was holding something back. She's definitely hiding something. In Philly's suite, she denies stealing Kane's program. He'll have to take her word for it. She informs him that he's looking in the wrong direction. Instead of accusing the person who's been loyal to her, he should start looking at Victor Newman. Back at the hotel, Claire runs into Kyle and they discuss Noah's situation. Kyle's sure being in a hospital brought up a lot for her after Cole. She gets emotional and he tells her how strong he is. He moves to leave, but she stops him to thank him for the flowers he brought. Kyle tells her he's going home to Genoa City. Then, cue the eye rolls because she asks, "You're giving up?" Holden finds Sienna at the bar and warns her the Newmans are a powerful family. He has to ask, "How well do you know Noah Newman? And what do you know about what happened to him?" Thursday, October 23, 2025. Echoes, Secrets, and Shadows. Today on The Young and the Restless, Claire's visit to her cousin Noah stirs buried pain and new suspicions. Nick refuses to rest until he uncovers the truth, and Phyllis finds herself cornered when Kane's accusations hit too close to home. Soft light spills through the blinds of Noah Newman's hospital room. Machines beep steadily, indifferent to the emotion that fills the air. Sharon sits in a chair beside her son's bed, holding a paperback copy of Tom Sawyer, her voice quivering as she reads aloud. So they set off down the river, looking for adventure. Her voice cracks slightly as she looks over at Noah's motionless hand. "You'd love this part, sweetheart," she whispers, brushing her fingers against his skin. "You always loved stories about friendship and second chances." Moments earlier, she had sworn she saw his fingers twitch, a tiny, miraculous sign of life. But when she mentioned it to the nurse, the answer wasn't what she hoped for. "It was probably involuntary," the nurse said with clinical calm, as though she were discussing a weather report. Sharon had snapped, her voice sharp with grief and exhaustion, before quickly apologizing. Now sitting beside Noah again, she forces herself to believe. "You have to come back to us, honey," she pleads softly, just like Tom and Huck always found their way home. A single tear slides down her cheek as she continues reading. Behind her, the shadows on the wall seem to breathe with her pain. Across town, the LA Hotel Cafe buzzes with mid-morning chatter. Claire Grace sits at a corner table, a latte untouched in front of her. She's just spotted Kyle Abbott sitting across the room, trying and failing to be inconspicuous as he spies on Holden Novick and Sienna Bacall laughing near the bar. "Seriously," Claire mutters under her breath. She stands, smooths her skirt, and approaches Kyle's table. "You're doing it again." Kyle looks up, caught. "Doing what?" "Acting like a detective in a bad movie," she snaps. "You promised you'd let me handle things my way." Kyle leans back in his chair, smirking slightly. The more important question is what's Holden doing, and who's he doing it with? Claire exhales through gritted teeth. "They're old friends, Kyle, not everything's a scandal." He folds his arms. "In my experience, if it's happening in LA, it usually is." Claire grabs her bag, frustration radiating from her every move. "You should stay somewhere else," she warns. "The longer you hang around, the harder it gets for me to move forward." As she walks away toward Holden and Sienna, Kyle mutters, "And the easier it gets for someone to take advantage of you." When she joins Holden, she finds herself the subject of curious eyes, including one pair belonging to Nick Newman, who has just entered the cafe. Nick crosses the cafe briskly, spotting Claire at the table with Holden and Sienna. His face hardens when Kyle quietly tells him who the woman is. "Her name's Sienna Bacall," Kyle explains. "She owns some club, the Shadow Room." Nick's eyes widen. "Are you kidding me?" He strides to their table, his presence like a storm cloud. "Claire, Holden, and you must be Sienna." Sienna, poised but wary, nods. "Nick Newman, I've heard about you." "Funny," Nick says, crossing his arms. "I heard about you too from my son. He's in the hospital right now. You might remember him, Noah." Holden looks startled. "Wait, you know Noah?" Sienna's eyes flicker, then soften. "I met him. He came to our club with my husband, Mitch. He seemed like a good man." Nick's voice lowers. "Dangerous. He is a good man, and someone ran him off the road." The air goes still. Holden looks between them, uneasy. Claire watches, sensing Nick's temper building. Nick, she says gently, maybe we should step outside. But Sienna interrupts, voice shaking slightly. I didn't hurt your son, I wanted to help him. Nick's jaw tightens, then help me, tell me what really happened. Sienna exhales, come to the shadow room tonight, we'll talk there. Nick gives a curt nod, fine, but I'll find the truth with or without your help. Later that night, Nick walks into the shadow room, a sleek, dimly lit nightclub humming with low jazz and whispered deals. Sienna stands behind the bar, pouring herself a drink. Nice place, Nick says, approaching her, looks expensive. Sienna smiles thinly. My husband likes the finer things. Mitch's investors do too, some of them from London actually. One of them was Noah. Nick stiffens, so he was here that night. Sienna nods. He wanted advice about licenses and permits. Mitch offered to back his expansion. He left around midnight. Why you call him? Nick asks sharply, and why hang up? Sienna sets down her glass. Because I realized I didn't want to be part of something that could get messy. Noah wanted to move fast. Mitch didn't. Messy, Nick echoes, you mean dangerous. Sienna looks away. People like Mitch make powerful friends and enemies. Noah didn't realize that. Nick takes a step closer. If someone hurt my son, I'll make them regret it. You can either help me or get out of my way. Sienna scribbles her number on a napkin, her hands trembling slightly. You already have it on Noah's phone, she whispers, sliding it toward him. But take it anyway, I'll pray for him, he's one of the good ones. Nick stares at her, unsure whether to believe her, before turning and walking out into the night. In another part of LA, Phyllis Summers lounges in her hotel suite, laptop open to Kane Ashby's stolen AI code. She grins as lines of data flicker across the screen. Brilliant, she murmurs. Absolutely brilliant. Then a sharp knock. Who the hell? She throws on her robe and opens the door to find Kane, eyes blazing. What did you do, Phyllis? He demands, stepping inside without invitation. Phyllis raises a brow. You'll have to be more specific, darling. My program, it's gone, Kane snaps. Stolen, deleted, maybe both, and guess what? Every trace leads back to you. Phyllis gasps, clutching her chest in mock horror. You think I stole from you, after everything we've built together? Cut the act, Kane says. You had motive access and you're the only one smart enough to cover your tracks. She circles him slowly, her voice smooth as silk. Maybe you should have better firewalls or better friends. Look me in the eyes, Kane demands. Tell me you didn't do it. Phyllis meets his gaze, her eyes glittering, unreadable. You'll just have to take my word for it. Kane exhales sharply. You're playing with fire, Red. Maybe, she purrs, but it's better than sitting in the dark. As Kane moves to leave, Phyllis calls after him. You're looking in the wrong direction, you know. If anyone's capable of stealing your tech, it's Victor Newman. Kane pauses, conflicted, before storming out. Phyllis closes her laptop with a smirk. That should keep you busy. Meanwhile, Claire and Holden arrive at the hospital. Sharon recognizes Holden immediately. You were friends with Damien, she says cautiously. It's been years. Holden nods. Long time. I just wanted to be here for Claire and for your son. Sharon hesitates before leading them into Noah's room. The air is thick with the quiet hum of machines. Claire steps forward, eyes filling with tears. Hi, Noah, she says softly. I've heard so much about you. I was really hoping to meet you under better circumstances. She sits beside him and brushes his arm. You're stronger than you think, we all are. Sharon watches her, moved by her compassion. It means a lot that you're here, she says. Nick and I were trying to stay strong, but some days it feels impossible. Claire nods, glancing at Noah. It's important to have someone you can rely on, someone who believes in you even when you can't believe in yourself. Sharon squeezes her hand. Exactly. In the waiting room, Nick corners Holden again. What's really going on between you and Claire? Holden frowns. We're just friends, Nick. She's been through a lot. I'm helping her get her bearings. Funny, Nick says. You seem to pop up everywhere lately, especially around people connected to my son. Holden stiffens. You think I had something to do with what happened to Noah? I think you know more than you're saying, Nick replies, and I think Sienna Bacall is lying through her teeth. Holden shrugs, forcing a smile. Small world, right? Nick mutters darkly, not a chance in hell. Later, Claire and Holden prepare to leave. Claire hugs Nick tightly. We'll be praying for him. Nick nods, his eyes never leaving Holden. Yeah, thanks. As they exit, Sharon enters the room. Nick, what is it? He exhales. Everything about this feels wrong. Sienna knows more than she's saying. And Holden, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. Sharon brushes her fingers along Noah's arm. We just have to keep faith. Nick takes her hand. Faith won't find who did this, I will. Back at the shadow room, Sienna leans against the bar, lost in thought when Holden walks in. He lowers his voice. You shouldn't be talking to Nick Newman. I didn't have a choice, she murmurs. He's looking for answers. Holden's eyes narrow. The Newmans are powerful and dangerous when threatened. If you know something about what happened to Noah, now's the time to come clean. Sienna's lips part, trembling. You think I wanted this? I warned Mitch something would happen. Holden leans closer, then start telling the truth before Nick finds out the hard way. The camera lingers on Sienna's face as she looks away, haunted, clearly hiding something that could shatter the Newmans forever. In her suite, Phyllis reopens her laptop. A line of code flashes across the screen, program reinitialized, user VN. Her smirk fades. Oh no, she whispers, realization dawning. Victor Newman already has it. The screen fades to black as the soft hum of the laptop echoes like a heartbeat. Next on The Young and the Restless. Nick uncovers a shocking link between the Shadow Room and Newman Enterprises. Sharon gets a mysterious phone call that changes everything. And Phyllis, well, she may have just started a war she can't win. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.